Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support Training and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is on the social media components of BNI Connect, so connections and groups and testimonials, and really it's how to find other people in BNI Connect, how to connect with them, how to start relationships with other people around the world that are in this wonderful system of BNI Connect. A couple of housekeeping things as we get started. I'd like to let everybody know that this webinar is being recorded. We record just about all of our webinars when technology cooperates. Once it is done recording and transposing and all that stuff, we'll be uploading it to one of two places. You'll be able to find them on our YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, you can even subscribe to this site if you'd like to. You'll be able to find our entire library of uploaded, recorded webinars, as well as some other content like special messages from Dr. Meisner and other things. You can also find all of our recorded webinars on our support site. To get to the support site, click on the question mark within BNI Connect, the Help button. This will take you over to the support site, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find the training section. Here you can find walkthroughs for just about everything in the system, and you'll also find a section on all of the recorded webinars. So they're organized here by month, so you can click through and take a look at those webinars that were in that particular month. So let's get started with today's content. As I said, we're going to be talking about really social media. And one of the things to consider when we're talking about connecting with other members and directors from around the world is that you really have to be conscious of how you look to other people. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because we have a whole webinar dedicated just to filling out your profile. But let me just give you an example. And this is a real story. This happened to me a couple of months ago, but I was sitting here in my office, and a client of mine walked into my office. And I'm a member of BNI. I've been a member for about 11 years now, since 2002. And he says, you know, I need a referral. And I said, oh, well, that's cool. How often does that happen? You're just sitting in your office and a referral walks in. I said, sure, how can I help you? And he said, well, I have an in-house bookkeeper, but, you know, they don't really, you know, they're at the limits of their knowledge. I need somebody that can really help them out a little bit more. I said, great. Well, I want to be able to use BNI Connect to make that introduction. So what I did was I went to our regional website, and I'm actually going to go to one of our test sites right now because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here. But I went to find a member, and of course the client of mine is standing right over my shoulder, and I did a search for the member. And I pulled up their profile, and this is what I came up with. It was, for all intents and purposes, empty. It had their name and their company name and what chapter they were part of, but you know, really it didn't give much other information. And in his case, even the address was hidden. So really, I mean, I couldn't just, you know, forward him this web page or print it out or even direct him to go and look up the information to get in touch with him. I ended up, you know, taking out a yellow sticky note and writing the name on a piece of paper. The same is true on the inside of BNI Connect. You also have a member-only profile, and you really need to think about how you look to other people. So if you'd like to see what your inside profile looks like, log into BNI Connect and click on the Profile button. This is a preview of your profile. So if I click on that, if somebody was looking for me in BNI Connect, they're going to get some more complete information. And again, this is in the members-only logged in portion of BNI Connect. But you can see that it shows, you know, my name and my industry and my business, my keywords, you know, my company and my logo, all my phone numbers, my website, my social media links, and my address. As a member, you also have access to a little bit more information than you get on the regional websites, and that is there's the Bio tab. Now, the bio itself will be hidden unless you are a secretary-treasurer or on the leadership team, but the 60-second presentations are there, the gains profile is there, and the tops profile is there. So there's a ton of information on this page that you can share with anybody that is looking at your profile. People can also browse and connect with your connections. So if you know somebody in BNI and you like to see who they're connected with, you can also do that. There's also the testimonials. So we can share the testimonials that we receive from other members through your profile in BNI Connect. There's also a photo sharing library. So you can upload and share photos, whether they're interesting photos, or a good use for this that I've seen is to share testimonials as well from your clients. There's also the social media groups that we're going to be talking about today. And of course, a good credibility builder is people can look at your training history. Now, where is all of this information updated? You can update just about everything within your profile by clicking the My Account button in the upper right-hand corner. And you'll see it's broken out into tabs, just like your profile is. First tab has all your basic information, including your business description and the keywords. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. You can change your username and password and upload your picture and your company logo. It has all of your contact information on the tab with the phone on it. Your permissions, or what you'd like to share with other people, is on the tab with the gear, the account settings. And finally, the Bio tab has your bio, your commercials, your gains profile, and your tops profile. And you can review your training history as well. So once you have your profile complete, one thing that you want to pay some special attention to is the keywords. And this is imperative for connecting with other people in BNI Connect. Now, the reason for that is that the keywords are how people are going to find you when they don't know your name. So I have countless examples of people that are looking to do business with other people in BNI. So whether it's that you're traveling to another state or even to another country and you're looking for, let's say, a limo service to pick you up from the airport, or you'd like to send flowers to your aunt in California, or you'd like to, your uncle's computer crashed in Florida and you need somebody to refer to get that fixed. The keywords are how people are going to find you, because most likely they're not going to know your name offhand. So make sure that you put in good keywords. Good keywords can include things like specific services that you offer. You may also want to include things like areas that you cover. So as people are searching for cities, it's going to search for what city you're in, but that only leaves you with one city. So if you cover other, especially big cities around your area, you may want to put additional cities into your keywords. Now, we're limited to 200 characters, so you do have to be somewhat selective as to what you put in the keywords, but definitely make sure that you put good keywords in. Let me show you an example. Now, going back to the home screen, this is the first screen that you see when you log into BNI Connect. All of the social media components are going to be located here under My Network. When we click on My Network, we can see all of these different social media functions. We have the connections, and that's kind of like your address book for people that you've started to establish a relationship with in BNI. There's the social media groups, the discussion groups. There's the documents. The documents are used as a means for your regional office, your director consultants, and your executive director to be able to share documents with all of the members in your region. There's the testimonials. There's all of your regional events. And there's an internal messaging system where you can send internal emails back and forth with your connections. Now let's talk about connections first. So what are connections? Connections are people in BNI that you would like to communicate with, or really it's putting people into your contact or address book. Now we can get to our connections by clicking on the Manage button. You can also get to your connections from any other screen by clicking on Network, Connections. Now once we get into the connections, you'll notice it is set up like an address book. On the left-hand side, it'll show all your connections. and you can see them all listed. There's also another list of connections that have pictures next to them on the right-hand side. If you'd like to look at somebody's details, just click on their name. This will show an abbreviated version of their profile, so really their contact card. So it'll have what they're working on, their address, their email, their website, social media connections. And you have a couple of options. You can send them a message. Again, that's an inside message. You can ask them for a testimonial. You can give them a testimonial. You can go and view their full profile, or you can remove them from your connections. Now, by default, you'll start out with some connections. All of the people that are in your current BNI chapter will be automatically listed as a connection. So chapter connections are maintained by BNI Connect. So as people come and join your chapter, they will be automatically added to your connections. As people leave your chapter, they will automatically be removed from your connections. All the rest of the connections, people that you'd like to connect with outside of your chapter, those are managed by you. So how do we get more people into our address book? How do we connect with other people around the world? Well, we do that by searching for people. Now, in the connections, you can click on the Add Connection button. Or if you're anywhere else within the system, on a report or on the home screen, you can also click this magnifying glass up in the upper right-hand corner. And we do have a comment real quick from Kelly. She says, please post a link to the YouTube before you leave. This is moving really fast. Try to slow down a little bit. I'm trying to squeeze a bunch of information into 30 minutes. But yes, I absolutely will give you the webinar links. For those of you, if you leave before this is over, the link is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, or just click on this question mark, and down at the bottom there'll be a webinars section that you can go to. So we want to add some people to our connection. So what we did was we went to the magnifying glass to search for people. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is that this is probably the last time you'll see this in this format. On Monday, we're going to be doing an upgrade to BNI Connect that is actually going to simplify this particular search process. So it'll be more of just keyword searches as opposed to a bunch of fields. But the same principle applies. You can put a name or a keyword in. That can be the person's name. It could be one of the keywords that's in their field. It'll search one country at a time in this particular search function, although that's being lifted in the next version. You can specify a state or a city or a profession. So let's say I was going to look for somebody that is on the webinar with us today. So we have somebody on the webinar. Let's see, Gary Cates is with us today. So I'm going to search for Gary Cates, and this is the easiest way to search for somebody, just by their name. So if you meet somebody in BNI at a networking event or something like that, you want to connect with them, just put their name in. So it's now searching all across the United States for Gary, and it finds him. And I'm assuming this is you, Gary. Gary in the Go Getters BNI chapter. He's a certified public accountant. Now, if I know who this person is right off the bat, I can go ahead and click the plus sign. That will send Gary an invitation to connect with me. I can customize this if I'd like to. If I'd like to say, hi, Gary. Thanks for being on the webinar today. I'd like to add you to my connections. And click Submit. He'll now be notified of this if he has his notifications turned on. And once he accepts my connection, he'll show up in my connections list. So let's say you don't know the person's name. And again, this is where those keywords are ultra important. You need to have keywords in so people can find you. So let's say that my grandmother who lives in Florida, her computer just crashed. I need somebody in Florida that I can refer to in order to get the computer fixed. So what I'm going to do is do a search for computer repair. And if I'd like to, I can put the state in of Florida and click Search. So let's see if there's anybody that shows up for computer repair in Florida. And it looks like I have a bunch of people here that I can start calling. Now, if I'd like to read more about them, I can click on their name and take a look at their profile. Now, here's where filling out your profile is important. There's a lot of people that are doing these searches on a daily basis. Now, this person, Dan McCurdy, looks like I can actually get in touch with him. He has his information here. He has his email address. He has his website, so I can go check out more about him. He has his phone number if I'd like to call him. Let's look at a couple of other people that showed up. I'm going to open up a couple of records here and take a look through them. So we have Allison here. Again, a good profile. I can go and find her. See if I can find an example. It looks like the computer people are on the ball here. Not too many people that haven't filled out their profile yet. Let's see if I can find you a blank profile. And it doesn't look like we're finding any. So good job, computer people in Florida. You're doing a great job keeping your profiles updated. So once you've sent a connection request to them, you do need to accept those connection requests. So I'm going to go back to my Connections portal and click on Network Connections. And you'll see here at the bottom that you'll have Received Requests. Now, these are people that have sent you a connection request. So if I click on Received Requests, I can see that I have 3 connection requests in here. So what I can do is I can click. So I have Shelley Howlett. She's an executive director in the Texas area, and she sent me a connection request. I can read the message, and I can choose to accept it, ignore it, or reject it. Now, the difference between those, accept, obviously, will just put them into my connections. Ignore means it will hide them from my received request. When it hides it from your received request, the person can't send you another request, but they also won't be notified that you're not accepting it. Reject request means that you are going to just flat out deny that request, but the person will be notified that you have rejected that connection request. I like Shelley. I'm going to go ahead and accept that request. And what we'll see now is that Shelley should be listed in my All Connections folder. And if I scroll down to the S's, I should see Shelley, and here she is. And now I can quickly grab her contact details if I need to. I could send her a message. I could ask her for a testimonial or give testimonials, which leads me to, let's talk about testimonials for a minute. That's the next logical step here. Testimonials are a great way to build credibility with fellow members. And you give a testimonial by clicking on Give a Testimonial. You do have to be connected with somebody in order to give them a testimonial. So I'm going to click Give Shelley a Testimonial. And all I really need to do is to write my testimonial out here. Once I'm satisfied with it, I would click Submit. Now, once you've submitted that, it will appear in Shelley's testimonial section. Now, you can review your testimonials, the ones that you've received as well as the ones that you've given, by clicking on the Testimonials button here or going to Network Testimonials. Now, we can see I have some folders here. I have my testimonials received. So you can see I've received 9 testimonials. And I can also review my testimonials given. And you can see that I have 16 given testimonials. If I'd like to read one of those testimonials, I can click on it, and I can read what that person had to say about me. I can choose to, if I'd like to, I can uncheck this testimonial, which means it will not display on my profile, or I can leave it checked so that other people can read this. I could also, if I'd like to, click Delete Testimonial. Now, keep in mind, we can only give one testimonial per member. So if there's a testimonial that you made a mistake on or that you don't like anymore or you didn't mean it, you will have to contact the other person and ask them to delete the testimonial. We have another question here. Helene says, can I link the message center to my Yahoo account so I know when I have messages? Or is there an app for iPhones? And Helene, sure thing. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So one question that I often get asked is, well, that's great for giving member-to-member testimonials, but I have some great testimonials from clients that I would like to display on my profile. And that's a great use for the photo sharing library. Let me show you how to put things into your photo library. You do that by clicking on Network, Picture Gallery. So once you get into the picture gallery, these are all the pictures that I have uploaded. I can choose to edit them, edit what their title and description is, or I can choose to delete them. Or I can upload new photos into the library as well. If I wanted to delete one of these photos, I could do so. Let's say that I'd like to delete. I'm going to get rid of this particular picture for now. And then I can upload a new one. I click on the magnifying glass to search my computer for a particular image. I can then crop that image if I'd like to. I can give it a title and a description. And click Submit. And now that photo will appear in my picture gallery. Now, that's also a great way that if you have testimonials from clients, you can add those to your profile as well by making sure you save them as a JPEG or a PNG file. So here's one that I received by email that I could save just as a PNG file right from the email. I took a screenshot of the email, and I uploaded it to my pictures library. And here's another one that came in via actual letter. I scanned it in, saved it as a JPEG, and I was able to upload it into my profile. So Helene, now I'm going to get to your question real quick because you can choose what things you share with people within BNI Connect. And you can do that on your profile. So go to My Account. And go to the Settings, the Account Settings tab, which is the one that looks like a gear. Now this is where you control what gets shown where. So the top section, when we're looking at our profile, we can choose what we want to share with other members. We can share our Bio tab with everyone, just your connections or nobody. And the same thing for your Connections tab, your My Testimonials tab, and your My Picture Gallery tab. You can also choose whether or not to show your email address or not, and whether or not to show your contact details, so your phone numbers and your physical address. Same thing is true for the public sites. You can choose what's displayed there. And here's where we start to get into those notifications. Now, you can choose to, we're going to talk about groups in a second, but you can choose your group email notifications. So once you start participating in groups, I highly recommend that you use this first setting so you get notified every time a new post is added. The next best would be to at least get a daily digest of all the activity in the groups that you're participating in. You can also do a once per week digest of the groups that you're participating in, or you can choose to opt out altogether. Now you can also choose for these to forward those emails to another address. So this is what you might be talking about, Helene. If you'd like those notifications as well as your messages within BNI Connect, so you notice all of these ones are, you can get notified at your address for messages that you receive within BNI Connect, also for a copy of messages that you send in BNI Connect. Connection requests can also be sent to your external email, recommendation requests, and if you'd like that to go to a different address that's on your profile, you can put an alternate into the email forwarding. Otherwise, it'll just go to the same one that's on your profile. So hopefully that answers your question, Helene. Let's talk about the groups for a minute. The groups within BNI Connect are, once you start connecting with people, this is a great way to have those conversations with other members around the world. So to get to the groups function, again, we can go back home and make sure we're on our My Network tab. And you can see the first couple of groups that you're participating in, if you're participating in any, in the Groups tile here. I'm going to click on Manage to get into the Groups setting. So we can see the groups that are listed, and right now there's 2,315 total groups in BNI Connect. If you'd like to participate in a group or read about a group, you can go through and find one to take a look at. Now, if you'd like to, you can go through page by page at about 6 groups per page. That could take quite some time. But you can see there's a ton of different topics. So we have one for blog writers. We have one for chapter growth coordinators, BNI Global Power Team, the BNI Foundation, realtors from any location, wedding powerhouse. So all different people in BNI that are getting together and talking and having conversations and even passing referrals between each other. If I'd like to read about one of these groups, I can just click on the name of the group. And I can look at all the topics that they've been posting. So it looks like they have a topic here for referrals that they're talking about in their new real estate group and sharing that information. If you'd like to post a message in the group, you can do so by clicking Post a Message. Now, joining a group, once you see these groups, and let's say that you browse through it and you'd like to become a part of that group, you can do so by clicking on the Join Group button. Then you'll start getting notifications as well when new things are posted in those groups. Now, if you'd like to have a conversation with Dr. Meisner himself, I highly recommend joining the group From the Founder. Now, you can search for groups as well by clicking on the magnifying glass. So let's say I'd like to join all of Dr. Meisner's groups. You can do that by picking the creator. So I'm going to do the creator as Meisner and click Enter, and I'll see the 3 groups that were created by the Meisners. We have the From the Founder group, the BNI Foundation group, and the Why BNI group. One other thing you can do is once you start establishing some connections, if you have something to say, you can create a group. You can create up to 7 groups within BNI Connect. You do that by clicking on the Add Group function. You just have to give the group a name. I'm going to call this one Test to be Deleted, since I don't want anybody to actually join this group. You can choose the access type, which means when people come to this group and they're not yet a member of the group, can they just view the things that are in there, or are they able to respond to them as well, even if they're not a member? What's the group type? It can be an open invite only, or members can invite. An open group means that it'll be able to be searched. Anybody can join that group. Invite only is a closed group. It will not show up in the searches. and only the creator of the group and anybody that they make an administrator of that group will be able to invite people. And finally, members can invite, which is once you become a member, you can invite all your friends. Give the group a description. Now the language, it's not going to translate the group into any other languages. This is really for just the purposes of letting people know what the primary language of conversation is going to be. And finally, you can go through your contacts and pick people that you'd like to invite. If you'd like to pick multiple people, just hold the Control key down while you're clicking. Once you click Submit, that group will be created. And it will appear under your groups. So now that I have this test to be created group, to be deleted group, I'm going to go in and you need to start a conversation. So you can add a new topic and get that conversation started. So we are at the bottom of the hour. So I would like to do a couple of things for those of you that need to leave right away. I would like to thank you for the time you put in being here today. Hopefully you found it very helpful. For those of you that can stick around for a couple of minutes, I would be happy to answer any questions about BNI Connect, whether it's about the social media functions or about anything else in BNI Connect. I'd be happy to answer those questions at this time. Just a reminder, this webinar, again, was recorded or is being recorded along with all the questions that are upcoming. It will be posted at youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Or again, click on the question mark in BNI Connect. This will take you to support.bniconnect.com. And at the bottom, go to the training section and the webinars section. If you have a minute, I would really appreciate a like on Facebook. We have a Facebook group as well called Facebook/BNI Connect Global. Please give us a like. We would love to have a like and communicate with you through this portal as well. If you'd like notifications about upcoming webinars, do a search for the webinars group and join that group as well. So do we have any questions at all? Again, I'd be happy to answer those questions at this time. All right, if we don't have any questions, oh, hold on a second. Kelly says, what was the Facebook group for webinars? So the Facebook group, if you go to facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. Facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. The group within BNI Connect is if you go to the network groups function. Easiest thing to do is just do a search for webinars. So do a search for webinar. And you should find my BNI Connect webinars group where we do regular reminders, usually the day of a webinar. We'll send out a reminder and what time and the topic so that you can join the webinar. So Andrea says, thank you, Jeremy, for all of your webinars and great support that you provide for directors and members. Andrea, it is absolutely my pleasure. I love being here and I love doing this. A good referral for me, by the way, if anybody is wondering, a good referral is to please go back to your chapters, go back to your regions if you're a director or an executive director, and let people know about these webinars. They're all listed on the regional calendars as well as on the support site. We would love to get even more participation in these webinars, and I'd love to get the knowledge out of my head and into all of yours. So thank you guys all for being here today. If there's no other questions or comments, I will thank everybody for being here today. I wish you a wonderful rest of the week, and happy connecting, everyone. Have a great day.